animated Anarchy series presents the Animated Showdown.
Hello, everybody. We're back with another one. It's your boy, Dave, the wild card, as your judge today on The Judge's Choice. We are here live today with Dutchy, usual host.
Hello.
Money E.
What's up?
And we got our boy, TCA Reaper, Sean.
Hello.
How are we all doing tonight?
Good. Doing pretty good. By the way, we're not technically live. This is pre-recorded, but
Hey,
I didn't want to screw up your momentum, so I figured I'd make some afterwards.
Yep, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
But tonight, we have some pretty good battles. I'll go over them in one moment. We have, starting up the lineup, Teen Titans versus the Avatar, The Last Airbender. That's going to be a good one. Cartoon Network versus Nickelodeon. That's always a good showdown. Next up, we have some animes. The rest are all animes, and they're all big. We have Black Clover versus Fairy Tail. We have Solo Leveling versus Jujutsu Kaisen. Two great animes recently came out. Next up, we got two of the big three in one showdown. We got Naruto Shippuden versus Bleach. And to follow that up, it's even bigger. It's even bigger, and I feel like these judges are going to have a hard time with this one. It's going to be One Piece versus Dragon Ball Z. And for the final, the finale, we have Attack on Titan versus Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And that is our lineup today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have Dutchy pull up this wheel. We're going to see what categories we got going on, and we're going to get into it.
All right. Get this thing up here. All right. Everybody can see that, right?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
All right. And remember,
one time.
And remember, if we see anything on here we don't like, Eric and I can change it. Sean used his ability to change last week. He can't do it again until we've all gone once. But let's go ahead. Let's click. Okay.
I know what I'm changing.
I was going to say, do you want to change one or do you want me to do it?
I'll change it. Let me make sure I didn't get.
I was just going to say, make sure you're changing the right one. Oh, wait a minute. I think I know what you're changing. Why am I writing it down? But so right now it says character development, voice acting, moments, cultural impact, and merchandise.
I'm going to change voice acting to fan base.
For fan base?
I don't like that. But Sean, it's up to you.
Which one? I'm sorry. You were taking out voice acting?
He's taking on voice acting and putting in fan base.
I don't like taking out voice acting for this one.
Not for fan base.
Not for fan base, no. I mean, if you picked a different one, maybe. But I like the voice acting for the shows that we got listed here. Sorry, Eric.
No worry.
Yeah. Again, if it were for something else, so why don't I give it a shot?
Okay.
What if we take out voice acting and put in animation style?
Okay.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
I'm okay with that. I like that.
Yeah, because I just feel like voice acting in this one it could go either or.
Yeah.
And so can animation.
I like that switch. I feel like animation, competing against animes, that's going to be huge.
I would have went with it, Eric, if you picked it over like impact or moments. Just to be clear, I'm not trying to hate on you.
No, I know.
No, and I have no problem getting rid of. I have no problem getting rid of voice. It was just fan base. I think it's just kind of. If you would have picked fan base to go over something else, or if you would have picked something else to go over voice acting. So yeah, no, I'm not picking on you either. It was just because I feel like voice acting. I don't know. They're like fan base because I feel. And this is just kind of how I feel. And by the way, this is coming from somebody who, doesn't really know much about anime, except for that it's on the air. I feel like a lot of the fan bases might be the same.
That's my
Yeah.
You'd be correct in some ways, but there are some people don't like Naruto, some people don't like Bleach, some people don't like One Piece. There's fans of one that don't like the other and whatnot. So it's not like just because you like anime, you like all anime. People do have their favorites. People do have ones that they dislike or whatnot. So that's how my perspective on it.
Well, yeah, it's your perspective on it because you know more about this than the rest of us.
Yep.
I mean, that's not a knock on it. It's basically just saying, hey, you know your stuff. We don't.
I just know what I've experienced. It doesn't mean I know it. It's just what I've experienced, what I've seen, what I've watched.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to this stuff, your stuff, all about the history, the fan bases, everything that kind of goes into detail. All we know about this stuff is
what you watched so far. Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Character development started the other one too on Saturday.
But you guys ready? We got our choices. We got our categories. We got them 5 all lined up. We had a switch out. We took out voice acting for animation. And we are going to get into the first battle, which is going to be Teen Titans versus Avatar: The Last Airbender. In the first category, we have, it's kind of like the last matchup last week on Saturday. We're going to have character development start us off. And these shows were pretty close. They were Teen Titans was released in 2003. It's a Cartoon Network production. It has a lot of DC entertainment into it. And Avatar: The Last Airbender, it was released in 2005. It's from Nickelodeon, produced over there. And we're going to have Sean start us off. Who do you have in character development here?
Which one did you say we're starting with?
Character development.
No, the shows.
Teen Titans and Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ooh, Avatar, hands down, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't even know how to really explain it. I just think there's just so many dynamic characters already in the show that they all kind of have their own stories and have their own backgrounds. And I just, Teen Titans, I don't see a lot of growth in Teen Titans just because I personally can't get past how they resemble like prior shows as teens, I should say.
Okay, I could see that. I could see where you're coming from. All right, Dutchy, we're gonna have you go second.
I'm gonna agree with Sean. I'm gonna say Avatar, mainly because I feel the same way he does. Because that's our brains being on the same wavelength again, which scares the crap out of me. But it just because Teen Titans, I just feel like it's just so. I mean, again, they do it better than Teen Titans Go, but Avatar, it's just like I feel like it's more of a continuation of the story.
Right.
And when the story continues, the development goes further.
Yep.
Yeah. Eric, we're gonna have you go last.
Yep. Sweep it. Same as these guys. Same reasons. I think there's deeper connections in Avatar.
Okay. Teen Titans is up 1-0. We're gonna get into
Avatar's up 1-0.
Or Avatar, sorry.
Well, you've been vindicated.
Yeah. See, I told you I was gonna make a mess up, Eric. Avatar. Avatar's up 1-0. We're gonna get into the next category, animation. We switched this one out for voice acting. So we're gonna have, since Eric wanted to change it at first, we're gonna let Eric go first on animation.
I think Avatar has better animation. I think there's more cleaner and more detailed. So I went with Avatar, hands down.
Okay. Dutchy, let's have you go second.
All right. I have been saying it since the beginning, since we started doing this type of show, even back when we did the Cartoon Classic, which is Nickelodeon, hands down, my opinion, has the best animation. Avatar is the Nickelodeon show. Avatar is the one I am going with.
And Sean.
Avatar, hands down.
Okay. Avatar takes that category. They are up 2-0. We're going into memorable moments now. Both of these shows have some pretty good memorable moments. We have Teen Titans where Robin is taking on Slade and stuff like that. We got Raven where she's dealing with her father and, funny moments with Beast Boy. And then Avatar, you got Aang, who is just Aang, being the Avatar, doing funny things, saving the world. You got Sokka, who's that comedic value to it. You got Katara, the one he loves. You got Zuko, the hot-headed angry guy. There's a lot of good characters in both, a lot of good memories. We're gonna start off with Dutchy. Who do you think had the better memorable moments?
So, to me, it's funny because I'm not going by the show that I liked better. I'm going by what I have watched. And I feel like Avatar's moments are more memorable.
I could see that. They do have some pretty good memorable moments. Eric, we're gonna have you go second.
Yeah, I agree with Doug. I went with Avatar because I kind of have character development and memory moments sometimes hand in hand. So I went with Avatar because of better character development.
Okay, and Sean, we're gonna have you finish it up.
Yeah, I also went with Avatar.
Who saw this coming?
The whole premise of the show just has nothing but moments.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. I definitely would have picked Avatar for a lot of these categories. And Avatar is going to take the first battle. It's going to be a sweep, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to win 3-0.
Who saw that coming?
Would it have been a sweep if
I didn't think it'd be a sweep.
Yeah, I did not think it was going to be a sweep either. I
Now-
thought it was going to be a lot closer.
He just raised the question: would it have been a sweep if voice acting was
No,
Yeah.
not in my book. I think Avatar has too much emotion invested into the show than Teen Titans did.
Yep.
so they still would have swept no matter what?
Yeah, I had Avatar too.
I would have voted Avatar. I don't know what you guys would have voted, but I would have.
Well, hold
I would've
on.
done Avatar.
I'm looking at it now. Oh, I had Teen Titans. I mean, I would have got outvoted anyway, but all right. So it wouldn't have made a difference. Avatar still would have swept anyway.
So,
So that's unlike last week when last week the change of the categories affected a couple of the battles. This week it's just like Avatar still would have kicked them.
Yep. Well, we're going to get into our second battle. And this one is an anime battle. It's going to be Black Clover versus Fairy Tail. Both of these have a little time of, creating their own legacy. Black Clover is a little more recent. It was released in 2017. It's got the backing of Period Studio, which is a pretty renowned studio. And then we got Fairy Tail, which came out a little bit earlier than Black Clover. It released out in 2009. It has multiple studios. It started off as A1 Pictures, but it went to Satellite, Bridgeworks, and Cloverworks. Right now, in its final season, I'm pretty sure it's Cloverworks that is the studio that they're working with. They're both pretty popular animes, and we're going to get into the first category, which is character development. We're going to have Dutchy start us off here.
All right. Character development. I really like Black Clover. I really like their development. So he either just said he wanted to go second or he just flipped me off. And so I went Black Clover.
Okay, nice. Eric, I seen you raise your hand. Dutchy took it. Is you flipping him off? But either or,
Well, I mean, technically, because he wants to go second, so he could disagree with me. He might as well flip me off.
Yep. Let's hear your reasoning of why you disagree with Dutchy.
From the research I did, I think there's more growth in Fairy Tale and more emotion.
More emotion. Okay. I could see where you're coming from on that. It does have some pretty good emotion in there. Sean, do you want to finish this category up? You're breaking a tie early in this one. What do you got for us?
I have Black Clover taking this one. I like the stories behind the characters. So
yeah, I would agree with you and Dutchy here. I would have went Black Clover as well. I think Asta being magicless and dealing with his demon powers that he possesses type deal. I feel like that's huge, and you see a lot of growth in those characters. So I would have agreed with you guys on there. We're going to get into the second category, which was changed out. It was voice acting, but it is now animation. And Sean, who do you think had the better animation here?
Well, since we switched it, I had to switch my answer, and I went back to Fairy Tale.
Oh,
I'm more impressed by that animation.
Okay. Were you impressed with earlier or later animations in that show?
Mainly the later ones. The earlier ones weren't bad, but I think they definitely improved.
Yeah, I do agree. Dutchy, I see you raising up. Go ahead, sir.
And I made sure not to use the middle finger. I went with Black Clover. I just liked it more. Black Clover is becoming one of my favorites. So this might be me being a little biased, which I'm sure you'll be okay with, because that actually means that I'm actually liking anime that I'm watching. So
for sure. And Black Clover is a great one. I've watched all of that, and I gotta say, its animation does get pretty good later on. Eric, you're gonna break this tie here. Let's see what you have to say.
I'm agreeing with Doug here. I just like the animation better. I think it's more detailed and more cleaner.
Ooh. Okay. So Black Clover going up. All right, we're going into the third category, which is going to be memorable moments. Who do you think had the more memorable moments here out of Black Clover and Fairy Tale? Eric, let's have you go first.
I went with Black Clover because I think they just had the better memorable moments and more, as I said, yeah, just better memorable moments.
Sean, how about you?
Yeah, I also went with Black Clover.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, for like the character development, I just think with the storyline, it really helped them with creating moments.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that. Dutchy, you want to finish this?
I'm gonna agree with Ren and Stimpy, and I'm gonna say
It better be
I'm gonna
Stimpy.
say Black Clover.
Who would have guessed? That's 3-0, right?
Yeah.
That's 3-0. Another sweep. Black Clover destroys Fairy Tale.
Did you see that coming?
A little bit, just because the year difference that they were created. Black Clover is a little more recent, so it has a little bit more recent animation and stuff like that. So I did see it being a little bit better, but I didn't think it was going to ultimately sweep.
Now, would it have if we would have kept voice acting?
Not me.
For me personally, I would have kept Black Clover with voice acting. just because of like Asta with like how he gets so dramatic and emotional, and then like Yami. I love Yami. He's awesome. He's probably my favorite character on there. Have you got introduced to him yet?
I think so.
He's the leader of the Black Bulls. The
Yeah.
one that, yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's my favorite character.
I had Fairy Tale. So, I mean, with him and I, if we had Fairy Tale, then then the switch kind of affected things. So,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to listen to we're gonna have to deal with the Fairy Tale fans.
For sure.
By the way, I'm
But-
throwing you in front if they come after us.
Black Clover takes that one, ladies and gentlemen. It's 3-0. We're moving on to the next one, which is another big anime battle. It's two newer animes that are entering the game. Solo Leveling, the first one, released in 2024. It's A1 Productions, A1 Pictures, versus Jujutsu Kaisen, released in 2020. It's Mappa Studios that created them. Pretty renowned studio as well. And we're going to start this off in the first category with character development. Both of these shows have some pretty unique characters and pretty sweet characters. And we're going to see what these judges here decide who has the better development in them. We're going to start with Dutchy.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
I just feel like it's done better. I'm more captivated with what I'm seeing on there. And even like when you get to the point, one of the characters dies early on, he gets brought back. And it's just like, you start to be like, oh, well, I started to like him and they killed him off because, they're dumb, like Game of Thrones. But then he gets brought back and it's like, oh, okay, cool. I can continue to like him again.
Right. Yeah. Once you get a little bit further, some of those characters do actually die.
Well, that's the
Sean, what say you on who has the better character development here?
I have Solo Leveling taking this one.
Ooh.
Again, I just think the story arc helps the characters.
Okay, I could see that. It does have a pretty good story. Eric, you're breaking a tie here. You got the power.
I'm agreeing with my buddy here, Doug. I'm going with JK.
Sean, he just hates you.
That's funny. He hates me because he ain't me.
Said,
I think there's some more emotion in Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't even know if that's right.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
JJK. Yep. And before the show, we all know Dutchy had a weapon towards Eric, and he said, "You better agree with me more." We all know how it went down.
Yeah, anyway.
I'll play it. I'm joking. But all right, we're going on to the second.
Yeah, but you're going to tell the truth.
We're going on to the second category. Jujutsu Kaisen takes the lead. They're up 1-0, ladies and gentlemen. We're going into animation. We brought this one out. The judges decided they wanted to take out voice acting, and we're going to see which one they think has the better animation. Eric, why don't you go first?
Yep, since I changed it, I went with Solo here. I think the detailed in Solo is more detailed and more cleaner. I just like the style better, but JJK had good animation too, so it was very close.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It's definitely very close in my eyes as well. Sean, we're gonna have you go second.
I went with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Ooh.
I like the artwork.
Okay, I can see that. And we are tied, ladies and gentlemen. We are tied, and you know who has the power? The man that usually has the hosting ability, and we got Dutchy. You got this tiebreaker. Let's hear it.
All right. So it's funny. Do I go with the person, or do I? It's funny who I'm going with. The Do I go with the person who I like more? No, I'm going with Eric. I agree. Solo leveling.
Ooh, solo leveling. Fire's back, ladies and gentlemen. We have a tied series here. It's 1-1.
We haven't had that in 25 minutes. Or
Yes.
technically in like 4 days.
Yeah, I know. And we got it here. It's going to be a close one, I feel.
I kind of wanted
feel
to see the look on Sean's face when I said I liked him better than Eric.
He's probably like,
I
man.
passed out. Sorry.
He's like, wait a minute. He actually said he liked him better than me? Eric's been making fun of me ever since the day I was born.
Said I fainted when I heard that.
Yeah.
But with it all tied up,
Tell.
with it being tied up, we're going into category 3. We're going into memorable moments. I feel like both of these shows have some pretty captivating moments with each of their characters and whatnot like that. And, you know, some iconic deaths and something like that effect. And you get some pretty good animation, which makes some pretty good memorable moments in my eyes. Dutchie, we're going to have you go first here. Who do you think had the better memorable moments?
JJK. Especially just in like the first few episodes. And because usually in like the first few episodes, you don't see a lot of memorable moments. I mean, sometimes the pilot can be memorable. But to me, you know, when you have a character deaths that I felt like were very, it's hard for me to still remember like some of these people's names. I don't know. I just felt like I felt like those moments are more entrenched in my brain.
Okay. I could see that. I definitely can understand that as well. Sean, we're going to have you go second. Who do you think had the better memorable moments?
I actually went with JJK.
Ooh, okay. JJK is going to take this one. But we still got to hear from our last judge here, ladies and gentlemen. And Eric, who do you think had the better memorable moments?
He had me going there. I thought he was going to go solo.
So did I.
He tricked me. He tricked us. I went with these guys, and I went JJK.
Okay, Jujutsu Kaisen takes the lead 2-1, ladies and gentlemen. Can they take the category and get the win here in this next one? Or can solo leveling come back and try to, you know, scratch its way back into a victory? We're going to cultural impact, ladies and gentlemen. Who do we think we had the better impact? Eric, you're going to go first.
This was a tough one. From the research I did, they both had a good impact. I went with solo here. It just led me to do solo, so I went with solo.
Okay. Solo leveling with 1 vote. Sean, we're going to have you go second. Who do you think had the better impact?
I actually went with Jujutsu. From everything I read, I saw that it just kind of, they're almost equal in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something in my gut said go with Jujutsu.
I can understand that. I mean, they both made a pretty big impact. That's definitely for certain. We have a tiebreaker here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big category.
Here we go.
Does Jujutsu Kaisen take the win here, or does solo leveling fight back and stay alive, ladies and gentlemen? It's up to Dutchie, your usual host. What do you say, Dutchie? Who takes this category?
We're not going to go to merchandise. Jujutsu Kaisen takes it. I don't know. I just feel like I hear more about Jujutsu Kaisen than I do solo leveling.
That's fair.
Fair enough. And to benefit your guys' opinions, it also had more time to create more of an impact. It came out in 2020. Solo leveling came out recently in 24. So it also had some more time to captivate more of an impact, I feel.
Where would you have gone?
Me, I would have went JJK for impact. That was a good battle. JJK takes that one 3-1. Solo leveling tried, but hey, they didn't go negative there. But we're going
Yeah, they're
on.
not losing anything.
Yeah, they're not losing anything. So that's a positive.
All right. So now this is where the show takes a turn and we end up on the air for 3 hours.
Yep. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got a big one here. It's two members of the big three that everybody knows. We got Naruto Shippuden versus the one and only Bleach. We are going into category 1, character development. Who do we think has the better development? Sean, let's have you go first.
I am going with Bleach.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I was just more captivated by their presentation of how they developed their guys.
Okay. I could see that. Also, I forgot to tell you guys, Dave, the release dates. Naruto Shippuden released in 07, Bleach in 01. They both have the same studio, studio that created them, with their animations. So they both have the same studio. Second up on character development, we have Dutchy. Who do you think had the better development here?
Well, Eric's making the final decision because I went with Naruto Shippuden. I feel like they just kind of had a head start on their character development with already having Naruto. So you have a head start and you just keep going and it just keeps going up.
Yeah, I do see that, and I think that's a valid point. Eric, you're breaking a tie here. The power is on you early on in this battle. I feel like this is gonna happen for quite a few of these battles. It's gonna be a toss up, and there's gonna be a lot of breaks. Which way are you breaking, Eric?
I went with Sean this time. I just thought there was more emotion in Bleach. This tad bit more, but so I went with Bleach.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Bleach going up 1-0 against Naruto Shippuden in the first category, and that's a big 1-0. We're going into the second category, which is animation. We removed voice acting for this category. Dutchy, we're going to have you go here first. Both of these animes were created by the same studio. Who do you think they did a better job on in this animation?
Okay, so this one was tough, but looking at it, because I do have, even though I wear glasses, I do have a pair of eyes that kind of work. I mean, unless it's in the dark and I'm driving, then they really don't. I went with Bleach. To me, I just felt like it looked a little cleaner.
Wow. Okay. All right. Bleach going up right here. I mean, can they take a 2-0 lead? We'll find out, ladies and gentlemen. Sean, you're our second judge on this category. Who do you got taking animation style?
This one was not very close, but I went with Naruto.
Ooh.
I just think they had, being that they were a show that started later, I think they had the advantage of better technology.
Okay, fair enough. They did come out later than Bleach. They came out 6 years after Bleach did, so they definitely did have some time to have better technology. I do agree with that statement. Eric, you're gonna break another tie. In right now, 2 categories back to back, 2 tiebreakers. Eric, you have the power once again. Which way are you breaking?
Kind of sickening, isn't it?
I'm agreeing with Doug this time, and Bleach is going up 2-0. I just think
You got a hard on for Bleach, don't you?
Yeah, I think he does, ladies and gentlemen. I think he
there's more
does.
detail to the animation, as Doug said. So and more clean. I think it's more cleaner, but that's just
Wow.
maybe my old eyes are bad too. So.
See, I would have agreed with Sean here personally, but I understand where you guys are coming from. It is pretty close. They are pretty close in years, so the technology advancement isn't huge. But later in Naruto Shippuden, the animation does get really, really good. But that's later on. We're moving on to the next category, ladies and gentlemen. Bleach has a 2-0 lead here. Naruto Shippuden could be wiped and lose points. That would be huge. As you
And
see,
Dave's gonna quit the show.
no, they won't quit the show. This isn't my judgment.
And by the way, I got to point this out. Stage 1, Bleach went toe to toe with Denver the Last Dinosaur, which, by the way, is not an anime.
I never forgot about that either.
All right,
I dream about it.
They went toe to toe. Denver, kind of gave them a run for their money. Bleach kind of came back and they swept Blue Exorcist in stage 2. You go from, okay, you can barely beat Denver the Last Dinosaur, and it looks like now you're getting ready to sweep back to back.
Yep. But we'll see if they can get that sweep.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just trying to build up the drama here.
It could. It could. It very well could. And it would be a big blow to Naruto Shippuden. Losing points here. Bleach could use this and get a nice couple points, which they could use to get up in that rankings. We're going on to category 3, memorable moments. Who had the better memorable moments? We had the war arc, we had the pain arc, we had the death of Jiraiya, and a couple other big characters in Naruto Shippuden. You had a lot of people dying in there. You had the appearance of Madara Uchiha come into play, and you see like characters like Neji die and stuff like that. That are very touching. Bleach, on the other hand, you got a lot of memorable moments. He's taking on the souls. He is a soul reaper. He's taking on a lot of enemies. They got a lot of cool powers. You see them do a lot of cool things, and he's traveling in another, into like the pretty much the heavens, you would say, and taking on that world. There's a lot of memorable moments in there. The blood arc is something I remember very quite well. It's their last one they did. But who do we have for memorable moments? Eric, we're going to start with you.
I went with Shippuden. I just thought their memorable moments stuck up a little more. I thought both had good memorable moments, but it just stuck up more.
Okay. Sean, we're going to go with you second. Who do you think had the better memorable moments here?
I went with Bleach just because their moments were relatively, like, I wouldn't say shocking, but they definitely had an awe factor to it.
I do agree with that. They had some pretty crazy moments, like when Ichigo is like turning into a hollow and stuff like that, and like learning his powers and unlocking new powers and stuff like that. There is a lot of cool moments like that. Doug, you got the power here. You got the power to break this tie. You have the power to either keep Shippuden in this, or you can send them out with a nice sweep. Who's going to take this category?
All right. So if I'm the way I'm looking at it right now is that the way the division standings are right now, Naruto Shippuden and Spider-Man are kind of head to head. And I'm sure Spider-Man fans would be happy if Naruto Shippuden got knocked down a couple of pegs. It's not going to happen. I went with Naruto Shippuden because I feel like their moments are... I am not a fan of Bleach. All right, I've said it before. Dave has filed defamation of character lawsuits against me. But I'm not a fan of Bleach. Therefore, I'm more of a fan of Naruto Shippuden's memorable moments.
Okay. Dutchy just
Dave
saved...
almost had another heart attack.
Dutchy just saved Naruto Shippuden from being sweep, ladies and gentlemen. They are not losing any points here.
I just saved their tail.
Yes, you did. It is 2-1 Bleach. Naruto, could they make a comeback, or are they getting eliminated in this next category? We're going into cultural impact. Which one of these shows do you think had a bigger impact?
Wow.
Sean, we're going to start with you.
I'm sticking with Bleach. I just think it kind of was one of the pinnacle shows that gave way to, shows like Naruto.
Okay. All right. Bleach has 1 vote. Can they send Naruto home? They only need 1 more, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to go with Dutchy next. Who do you think had the
No,
bigger
you're not.
cultural impact?
He
No?
raised his hand.
Oh, he did? I didn't see him. Sorry. Eric, go ahead.
He put his fingers right in front of my face.
I'm sorry. I was looking down at my thing because I was
raised my
seeing what
hand
categories
twice.
next.
Yeah. Don't worry, I got you.
I went the opposite of Sean. I went Shippuden. From what I read, I think they made it more global impact, especially in the anime industry. I just think they're more popular, and I just think they had more impact.
Okay.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Okay. Naruto Shippuden gets a vote here, ladies and gentlemen. It's tied 1-1. Guess what? We got another
I feel like we've done this a lot.
Oh, yeah. We've done it pretty much on every category. Dutchy, you have the power once again. You're going to break yet another tie. Which way are you breaking this time?
Okay. I'm going to kind of talk out of both sides of my mouth here.
Okay.
All right. On one hand, you have, and I've asked people because I did not know which way to go. So I've asked people that are anime experts that aren't us or you, because we're kind of, in the middle of this thing. So I've asked fans. I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Because usually I don't know half the time anyway. Naruto Shippuden is a powerhouse because with cultural impact, you also kind of do have to, and I know I don't like doing this, but you have to take into effect that franchise. They are a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I've heard from people that Bleach has inspired, and I've read this too, Bleach has inspired a lot of creators in creating other anime.
Yeah.
So,
and that would be the same for like Naruto as well, because like Jujutsu Kaisen, like when you're watching there, they have like moments where they do like shout outs, like in the beginning where why can't I remember his name, the main character, not Sukuna or whatever, he's like, can I get a Rasengan or something? Like
well, also too, you bring up Jujutsu Kaisen, but that was also one of the things I had heard too, that the writers from Jujutsu Kaisen also took inspiration from Bleach.
Yeah, they take it from both. Yes.
So, based on what I have heard and what I have been told, I got to go with Bleach on this one. All right, I'm going to give it to Bleach again. I don't like the show. All right, I am not a fan of Bleach.
Honestly, I would have agreed with you guys here. I think Bleach does have a better impact.
But I just have to go with what I have been told, even though I usually don't do what I'm told anyway. But I just have to go with like what I just keep seeing, and that's why I went with Bleach, even though I actually do enjoy Naruto Shippuden better.
Yeah. Shippuden does get a lot better from like the younger Naruto, where he's kind of like the version that you don't really like. But Naruto Shippuden goes down 3-1 to Bleach. They are not losing any points, but Bleach takes the victory here. We're going on to the next battle. We're going to One Piece versus Dragon Ball Z. I know this is one these guys have been dreading.
Holy crap.
I know this is one they're dreading, ladies and gentlemen. And we're starting off with the first category, which is character development. One Piece was released in 99. DBZ was released in 89. It's a little bit of a, difference in years there. They both have correlation though. They both do have Toei animation. It's TOEI, Toei animation. I don't know if I'm saying it correct, so don't hold me to it. One Piece also has Wit Studio helping, and DBZ also has Shindo and Junio Studios helping produce their animations. I gotta say, both their animations are pretty phenomenal. But we're going into the first category, character development. And Eric, we're gonna have you go first. Who do you think had the better character development, One Piece or Dragon Ball Z?
This is very, very close. I went back and forth this, but I gave the edge to One Piece from what I read and watched. I just felt that the development is more there and there's more emotion with characters.
Okay. Did you raise your hand, Dutchie?
I did not.
Okay, I thought I seen.
I probably just stretched because I've been dealing with a bad back for the last few days.
Okay.
So I'm probably just going like that or something. But no, I did not raise my hand.
Okay, sweet. Sean, we're gonna have you go second. Who do you think had the better character development, One Piece or Dragon Ball Z?
I think both of them had decent character development within like the whole premise of the show, but I went with One Piece because I think they do it more like defined, and they put a little more effort and like more descriptive, like a more descriptive nature of the character, I think.
Okay, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Dutchie, you're gonna finish this up. Which way are you going?
I said One Piece.
One Piece.
Let's not even dramatize it. Just they've already said everything. So
Yep. Okay, One Piece taking the lead, 1-0. We're going into the second category, which is animation. Who do we think had the better animation? Sean, why don't you go first?
Oof. I went with Dragon Ball Z here, mainly just because I think there's more going on, especially with the fight scenes. There's a lot more like art that had to be taken into account.
Okay. I like it. Okay. One vote for Dragon Ball Z. Eric, why don't you go second? Who do you think had the better animation style?
I agree with Sean here. I think Dragon Ball Z had better detailed, and especially the fight scenes, and I just think their artwork was fantastic.
Yeah, I do agree. Their artwork was fantastic. Dutchie, even though it doesn't really count, which way are you going?
I mean, we're all in agreement on this. Apparently, we couldn't agree if our lives depended on it on the last one, but we're agreeing here.
Okay, it's tied, ladies and gentlemen. 1-1. One Piece and DBZ tied 1-1. Let's break that tie. We're going into memorable moments. Who do we think had the better memorable moments? Eric, why don't you lead us off on this one?
Another close one, but I went with Dragon Ball Z because of the fight scenes, and I think the fight scenes were more memorable to me. It stuck out more.
Okay.
But very close, very close.
Sean, who do you think had the better memorable moments?
I went with Dragon Ball Z, mainly just because of when Goku finally hits like Super Saiyan.
It's very iconic.
That's a pretty iconic moment.
Yep. I think everybody remembers that moment.
I think that overshadows a lot of the moments One Piece had.
Very fair. Very fair. Dutchie, which way would you have gone?
I said Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z. So Dragon Ball Z taking the category. They're up 2-1. We're going into the next category, which is going to be cultural impact. Which one of these animes had the better impact? We're going to start with Dutchie. Which one do you think had the most impact?
All right, cultural impact. I went with Dragon Ball Z. I mean, they're a franchise. They're a franchise. People are still talking about them. People still watch them. People still, and this is one of those things. I know I argued in stage 2 about their cultural impact against Batman. I can't argue it here, mainly because, I really don't have a dog in this fight. I mean, I have a dog laying next to me on the bed, but
Damn.
Got
I
him.
like it when you get him behind the ears too.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Anyway, so yeah, I went with Dragon Ball Z just because it's a franchise and it's the impact is still being felt. I know, One Piece is one of the big three of your guys' generation, but as somebody told me last week while we were conferencing off air, by the way, he's the guy hosting the show right now. He said that Dragon Ball Z is the godfather. And I kind of agree with that.
Yep, that is how I see it. And that's how a lot of other people see it as well. So we're going. Eric, I'm going to have you go next.
Yeah, it's Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z. Bam. Bam. Not that it really matters, Sean, but you want to finish it up?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
Boom. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dragon Ball Z takes it 3-1. They're going to win this. They're going to get the points. One Piece doesn't get swept, though. They're not losing anything.
By the way, both shows heading into this were 2-0 with 50 points, and neither one had really been tested, except for maybe like one category loss in one of the battles.
Yep.
And Dragon Ball Z, again, not really tested, but One Piece, like, is basically, it's kind of like going up against that monster, like in the video game, like trying to beat the last level of the video game, and Dragon Ball Z is that last level.
Yep. So a lot of animes are going to try, but we'll see if any of them will succeed.
Well, you told me last week off air that, like, when it comes to the 1 seed, you put your money on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Even though it's not my favorite.
Yeah. Like, you're just like, it's going to be the 1 seed. Now, I said that my pick would be the Looney Tunes. And that's a battle that, is probably inevitable.
Yep.
Especially if they're tied at the end and they have to go at it to see who the 1 seed is.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be sweet.
Yeah.
That would be sweet. But we're going on to the main event here. We're going to go with Attack on Titan versus Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. They're both pretty close in release dates. Attack on Titan was released in like 2013, produced by like Wit Studio for the first like 3 seasons, and then Mappa took over. And they're a pretty renowned studio as well. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood released out in 2009. They were produced by Bone Studio, which is a pretty renowned studio as well. And we're going to go into our first category, which is character development. Which one of these animes do you think had the better development? Dutchy, why don't you take us off here?
I went with Attack on Titan. I just feel like there was more to build on because of I really like the story. Okay. And so I felt like there was a lot more coming from underneath.
Right.
And there was a lot more to build towards.
Right. Like more plot twists and stuff like that,
yes.
too. Eric, I seen you raising hand. You're going to be next.
I went.
Which way are you going here?
I went the opposite. I went with Brotherhood. Actually, for the same reasons he did for Titans.
I could see that. There is some plot twist in there too.
I swear, we argue more than a sitcom married couple.
Actually, we agreed a lot today.
I know. I think I argued more with Sean.
I was gonna make a joke, but I can't on the show.
Yeah,
it went to a dark place.
Oh my god! I don't want to go now.
I mean, Dave. I think I can do better than either one of them too, but we don't have to get in.
Fair enough. Okay, we're tied here in the first category, ladies and gentlemen, if you believe it or not. And you know what? Our typical tiebreaker. He hasn't broke a lot tonight. We've been keeping him off duty, but I think it's time for him to come back in here.
I don't even think he's spoken in the last 10 minutes.
Sean, which way are you going on character development?
I think I know where he's going.
Do I vote for the same one Eric did or the same one Doug did?
That's the question.
I think I know where he's going.
Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Ooh. Attack on Titan. I could see that. I could see that. I can understand that. They do have some good development in there, especially with the main character and the supporting cast around that character.
Where would you have gone, Dave?
Me, to me, that's a toss-up in my mind. I could have been either direction, because I feel like there is a ton of development in each of the shows. But I probably would have went Attack on Titan as well. Even though I do like Full Metal more, I do believe there's a little bit more development with Attack on Titan. But with that said, Attack on Titan takes the first category. They're up 1-0. We're going into the second category, which is now animation. Who do you think had the better animation? Eric, why don't you start us off?
I went with Brotherhood. I think they're more detailed and more cleaner to me, and I just like that style. I just had a bit more. Attack on Titans was pretty good, but I think Brotherhood takes this probably by a lot.
Okay. Were you just fidgeting over there, or were you trying to get my attention, Touchy?
I'm fidgeting, but I will go next if you would like me to.
Yes, I would.
All right,
Why don't you take us away? Attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan. I'm gonna basically everything he just said for Brotherhood. I'm saying for Attack on Titan.
Fair enough. And you know what? Back to back. Sean's got to break another tie back to back, ladies and gentlemen. He took a little break, but we're making him do it again. We have him breaking another tie. Sean, which way are you going? Attack on Titan here or Full Metal Alchemist for the animation?
I went with Full Metal Alchemists. I think they're just better detailed. There's more like definition to their art, and it just flows really nice.
Okay, I could see that. I could see that. They are pretty close in years of release, so they are pretty close in their animation. I will give you guys that. We are tied 1-1. Yeah, they each got a win in a category. We're going into the third category. We're gonna have to break this tie here. We're going into memorable moments. Who had the better memorable moments? Dutchy, why don't you lead us off?
I went with Attack on Titan. There's a lot more just entrenched in my brain. I think it was just an easier watch. Therefore, kind of created more moments in my head. So I went with Attack on Titan.
Okay. Eric, I see you over there getting my attention. You're going to go second. Who do you got taking this?
Sean's going to break another tie. I went with Brotherhood.
Woo. We're tied, ladies and gentlemen. It's tied 1-1 in the vote and 1-1 in the categories.
He's going to quit, right?
Sean, you've had to break 2 ties already. We're going in the third category. You're breaking yet again another tie. What is your judgment?
Didn't break a tie all night, so.
This one was tough because they both have great moments and have like great opportunities to have great moments.
They do.
But I went with Full Metal because I just think their moments are more meaningful to the story of the show. Have more impact, I should say.
Okay. I could see that. I could see their moments having more of an impact. Like when that one father transmutes his daughter and his dog to create like a chimera and stuff like that. That was a pretty wild moment, I would have to say. So Full Metal Alchemist is going to take that category. They're going to go up 2-1, ladies and gentlemen. We're going into the next category, which is cultural impact. Who had the most impact in the culture? Sean, we're going to go with you first so you don't have to break another tie.
Man, he just got that sigh of relief.
For cultural impact. This was another tough one, but I actually went with Attack on Titan.
Ooh, one vote.
I think
right
it just has like one of those, I would say not like a shock and awe factor, but has that kind of shock and awe factor, if that makes any sense.
there. Okay. No, I can understand that. I can understand that. Dutchy, we're gonna have you go second. Who do you think had the most cultural impact?
All right, so I'm gonna, even though technically I'm disagreeing with him, I'm basically doing this on Sean's behalf, so this jerk off can break a tie. I said Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Ooh. Okay, we're tied 1-1. They both do. I feel like they both do have a huge impact, both these shows, and so it is tough. Eric, you're breaking the tie here. You have the power. All these categories have been tie breakers, ladies and gentlemen, and Eric has the power to break this one. Where are you
By the
going,
way,
Eric?
I called you a jerk off out of love.
I know. In the fifth category is merchandise, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to merchandise.
Oh,
Man, I just did that on Sean's behalf, and he's just like, all right, you want to make me break a tie? We're going to Sean's favorite category instead of a...
And ironically, because I agree with Sean, we had to go to merchandise.
yeah. It is the main event, ladies and gentlemen. It is tied 2-2. We are in the final category. Which one of these are taking the victory here? Is it Attack on Titan or Full Metal Alchemist? We are in the fifth and final category. We are in merchandise. Who do you think had the better merchandise, the merch sales, and the better collectible items? We're gonna start with, you know what? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Let's go. What do you have for us, Sean?
I have Full Metal Alchemist. From everything that I researched, right or wrong, just showed that they had better sales and like a better following, which led to better sales.
Okay. Does anyone want to go second?
I'll go second.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I agree with
Hey,
Sean there. I went with Brotherhood. From what I read, same thing. I think they sold more items and more high value.
Okay. And Dutchy, would you finish us off?
I also went with Brotherhood. I think we all read the same thing. We didn't share notes, but we all read the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people get Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood tattoos too. I know that's not like their merchandise, but it's like, you know, you see a lot of those tattoos as well.
Eric and I are going to go for his and hers ones in a little bit.
I bet you are. I can see that happening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Full Alchemist Brotherhood takes this 3-2 here. It was a close one in this final matchup, but
about time one of them was close.
Yeah, I know. It's been mostly 3-1s. It's been 3-1s.
Well, it started off as sweeps and then moved into 3-1.
Yeah. Even though some of the categories, were, the one that got the 3, the categories were tiebreaker categories in some of them. So.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't agree.
Yeah.
We're like those women in the hair salon that are just like, I don't know, Shanice. I think this is true.
But yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna get sued.
Thank you for letting me host, Dutchy. It was my pleasure. I will let you do the exit, the outro.
All right, so we got through all that. Sean and I are going to be doing our judge's choice in a few weeks. We're going to give ourselves enough time to, prepare. I mean, technically, I don't need time to prepare because I do this on a weekly basis. But, Sean's got to have enough time to get the check to clear to his wife so she doesn't yell at the kids while he's trying to host the show. So, all right, this Saturday on Animated Hour of Power, it's episode 29. Life and Times of Juniper Lee takes on My Life as a Teenage Robot. My Hero Academia takes on Samurai Champloo. Garfield and Friends going to take on Count Duckula. And your main event is going to be Thundercats taking on Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? By the way, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You is in the same division as One Piece and Rugrats. One Piece just lost. Rugrats just won on Saturday. And it was, I think it was a 3-1, so they got the 20 points. So technically, Rugrats is in the lead in the division right now. Technically, Scooby-Doo can get up there if there is a sweep, but, we'll see. Animated Showdown next Wednesday afternoon. The Wild West Cowboys and Moon Mesa is going to take on James Bond Jr. 16 takes on Beavis and Butthead. Vinland Saga takes on Magi, Kingdom of Magic. Galaxy High takes on Josie and the Pussycats. So take whatever you need to take before we do that battle. And the main event is Spider-Man the Animated Series taking on Street Sharks. Now, what's interesting about that is with Naruto Shippuden losing in this episode to Bleach, it kind of opens up the door for Spider-Man to build its lead.
Try to, yes, because Street Sharks is not going to go down. Street Sharks lost in stage 2, but it was close. It's going to be a street fight.
Exactly. So Spider-Man can try to build its lead and try to get as far away from Shippuden as possible. Whether that happens or not, we have no idea because, honestly, we really don't know what we're doing. We're just making this up as we go along. But that is, of course, next Wednesday. Make sure to like and subscribe to the When Tunes Combine YouTube channel. Join the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/When Tunes Combine. Join the subscribe to subscribe to the Wrestling Through the Years podcast YouTube channel. This Saturday or this Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to do another round of Book Push Fire. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Unscripted Sports Show podcast on YouTube. You're going to find WildCard Dave on Twitch at TCXGodsend95. It's not on the screen. But you were pointing down for me to read it, and it's not there.
Yeah, it's usually there. I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah. You can find Sean on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, and Kick at TCAX Reaper. Also, join the Dizzle97 YouTube channel and Twitch, and the Stabcast with Dangle and Mindy. And we will see everybody Saturday for episode 29 of Animated Hour of Power.
See you later.